Okay then, we'll get underway. I'll call to order the Beal Early Childhood Center Building Committee for its regularly scheduled business meeting Tuesday, October 8th at 6 p.m. in the old Selectmen's Room. Review of the meeting minutes of the September 10th, 2019 meeting. Comments, questions? If there aren't any, can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded to accept those minutes. All those in favor shall signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, be unanimous. Item 3 is to review and act on the following bills, schedules, and warrants. Fontaine Brothers, Inc., requisition number 8, $802,555. Lamoureux Pagano and Associates, invoice 1717-1909, $433,375.72. Rayleigh and Wellington Insurance, invoice 744-870, $110,900. And Gatehouse Media, Telegram and Gazette, invoice 123486 for $70.98. Further comments, questions? Mr. Manager, anything on Rayleigh?
Yeah, so this is the builder's risk insurance policy that the committee authorized that we execute last week. So we're putting it back on the warrant as a confirmatory vote for that action.
Thank you very much. Comments, questions? If there aren't any, can I have a motion?
Move to approve.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor shall signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, we unanimous. Item 4, hear reports, review, and act on the following matters. A report from the owner's project manager. Good evening, Will.
Good evening. So we have the budget summary. I know we wanted the index, for some reason it didn't print out, but there will be an index next time, so I apologize. No change on the total project budget, that remains the same. Total contract value to date has increased based upon the executed Amendment 2 with Fontaine Brothers for concrete and structural steel to the total of $31,613,922. Total invoices, $10,122,000. Everything that we have submitted in ProPay is $7.3 million, and reimbursements to date are the $3.5 million. Any questions on budget right now? We are working with Fontaine and LPA towards filed sub-bid date. I believe it's November 7th they're due. They went live on October 7th, so we have a pre-bid walkthrough on the 10th. Probably not going to be a big turnout because it's kind of just an empty site right now, but we have plenty of interest as we spoke about last time. I think we have coverage in all categories, a minimum of 3, and I think upwards of 8 to 10 in some categories. So we're hoping for some very competitive pricing on the filed sub-bids. When those come in, we'll be working with LPA and Fontaine also in the next month on some of the non-filed subs, drywall, framing, millwork, cabinetry, items like that, carpet, and then probably site improvements will be one of the last bigger packages that'll be bought, but we'll be working towards a GMP for that end of November, probably early December date that would include the filed sub-bids as well.
Great, thank you.
Yep.
Questions, comments? Not seeing any. Thank you very much, Will.
Yep, absolutely.
Report from the architect. Good evening.
Good evening. We're very happy to say that the 100% documents are completed and now, as they say, out on the street. They're fully being bid. That's a big landmark for us. We continue forward with answering questions, reviewing submittals. I think many people have the misconception that the architect rests at that point, but we don't. And
Architects never rest.
architects never rest. See the bags under my eyes. But we do have a great team. We're, obviously working together on the weekly job meetings. Everything has been going exceptionally well from our perspective. Excited to see the site progressing. We are continuing with the furniture, furnishings, and equipment, detailing, design. That's a large effort. And we'll be able to come back and update you unfinished selections and final colors. We've given you some previews, but that's what we'll be looking forward to. Some other details that we're interested in as they evolve will be the history wall, how we're able to represent the Howard W. Beal historically in the school, and other elements of that. We now have a moment to kind of spend some time thinking more about that. We are going to refine the mural for the lobby, and we have some exciting ideas about that we look forward to pursuing. And so we'll continue to update you on all of those elements as things progress.
Right, thank you. Questions, comments? I would encourage you to loop in Mike Perna on
Yes,
that matter,
yes,
because
we
he may have
definitely,
other resources.
it's going to be I think a community effort on the history wall.
Right.
We know what's in the existing school, but we haven't really been able to develop exactly how we want to represent that, which will be a nice feature in the main lobby.
Mike may have
Mike
access to
Perna.
other features as well that can supplement
Perna.
that effort.
P-U-R-N-A. So he came.
Also, as you look ahead, anything that's bothering you, concerning you?
Honestly, no, I'm not. Things are going really well. I'm very pleased with the set of documents that went out. One of the first things we do is kind of go through a list of items that we know we have to address by addenda, as it's called, and the team's done an awesome job. It's really, really great. We've had the opportunity to be working with Fontaine and have PMA's input. Obviously, we have MSBA's input every step of the way, and the commissioning agent, but it's looking really good. Obviously, the estimates came in really well, and so we're looking forward to being able to capitalize on that and even improve further if possible.
Absolutely.
And how's the schedule following?
Working right along.
Perfect, yep.
Okay, good.
Yep, no issue.
All right, thanks. No questions for the architect. We'll move on to the report from the construction manager.
Yes, sir.
Schedule update and construction progress.
Yeah, things are going great. Buildings are completely down, they've been abated, demolished, they're off-site. Site contractor is progressing on a road work, trying to wrap up the water line hopefully tomorrow. We can switch the water line to go around the site, and then we can take out the old line and then meet up with Halleck, who's doing the road work for the town. And in the meantime, last week we started concrete, signed the amendment, I think it was the 25th. Got formed 18 guys out there on last Monday, starting the foundation, so hopefully pouring concrete this week. So just what we had hoped for. Concrete should be done December 25th around Christmas, steel January. And right now, it looks like we're on track to do that.
What are you thinking for a time frame for the road elevation to collapse to its near final elevation?
That'll be happening in the next 5 weeks. That by end of November, that roadway will be in. We just have to get rid of that water
Well,
line.
no, I understand. I'm
That's
just
the
wondering.
main thing. And if that happens tomorrow, that'll go very quickly.
Great. Questions, comments? No? Anything else? Anything keeping you up at night that we should be aware of?
Everything unfortunately keeps me up at night, Jim.
Good,
Just
that's good. You should be worried about it, so we don't have to.
No.
Yeah. Good. Okay, anything else? Questions, comments? No? Okay. Item 5 is to review, I can't even read. Review and act to confirm the town manager's execution of contract amendment number 2 between the town of Shrewsbury and Fontaine Brothers for concrete and steel, the early bid package number 2. Mr. Manager.
So, as has been mentioned a few times this evening, the early bid package number 2 included concrete and structural steel. The total amount that was signed in that amendment was as listed on the budget sheet, which is $8,717,962. That was $813,640 below the budget estimates for those items. So we continue to be in a healthy position from a budget to actual standpoint. So I have executed those documents, the work is underway, and we're just wanted to circle back with the committee to bring you fully into the loop with numbers.
Great, thank you very much, Kevin. By way of reminder, we had authorized action between meetings, and I just like the practice of then bringing it back so that we close that loop. And then we'll take a confirmatory vote if there's a motion to do so, and just tie up that loose end, if you will, and then we'll move on. I can, this may happen periodically, but I think it's a good way to ensure that we all understand what we're voting on, and then Kevin brings us back with a full explanation.
Yeah, okay.
Is there a motion?
Yes, Val, it's,
Second? Motion's been made to act to confirm the manager's execution of contract amendment number 2. All those in favor shall signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, be unanimous. Item 6, correspondence. We have an email dated September 9th, 2019 from Brian Moss, 16 Ruth End Circle, regarding our response to the committee's letter back to Mr. Moss with a response. He has cited a few other additional concerns which Kevin will chase to ground and prepare a response back and brief the committee. 6B is a letter dated September 16, 2019 from Carl Brown from the MSBA regarding 90% construction documents comments. Anything interesting there?
Nope, the responses for the initial 90% and the supplement both went back on Tuesday of last week.
Great.
No issues on the supplement and just a couple of comments on the initial, so all set.
Thank you. And 6C, a letter dated September 27th, 2019 from Carl Brown of the MSBA regarding supplemental 90% construction document comments. The next item up
Mr.
is...
Chairman, just
Yes.
one question. I know that next week we've been, some of us were invited to a kickoff meeting with the MSBA, that they're coming out to the site. And could you provide some insight into what we can expect at that meeting? And
Absolutely. So typically the MSBA, I think they do 3 now, one at the end of feasibility and schematic, one at the end of DD or the beginning of, maybe, yeah, right around DD. And then one when we move into construction. So it's kind of just bringing everyone up to speed, what can be expected, what they need from the project team, nothing from Fontaine, but from LPA and PMA, what they're going to want to see for any change orders, contract amendments. They've already asked me for the 2 amendments. You know, they see them in our monthly reports, so we'll get those over to them. But it's really just procedural and who's going to be on site. They like to visit to the site once a month to see the progress. Instead of just getting a monthly paper report. So it's really all that'll be is just a kind of an update on what they expect in that module, what you can expect in the module, and what we are required to give them.
thank you.
Great.
Yep,
Thank you.
absolutely.
Any further questions? If not, we are now on item 7, which is the date for the next meeting. I have us on the 12th of November, traditional second Tuesday. And then I have us on the 10th of December and the 14th of January. Let's jump into February for the fun of it. I have us on the 11th. Does that work with the schedule you folks see coming up?
I don't see any issue with that.
Okay, good. I'll ask Val to issue a 2020 schedule. Val, take us right out, if you will, and circulate that. Otherwise, I think we're in good shape. If we need to have a different meeting, we can always do so. I tend to think, to the extent it's a contract matter, I prefer to follow this concept of authorizing the manager or whomever to take such action and then just tie back at the next meeting. If there isn't anything else from the... Oh, Patrick.
Mr. Kane, I'm just wondering if Mr. Hartley could tell us a little bit about the timing around budget status update after all the construction contracts and services have been bid, so that we could look at the totality of the construction portion of the project as budgeted, and then how the bids have come in, and look at that kind of comparative analysis. And I know that we're trending under right now
Yep.
with various pieces, which is positive news, but when will we have kind of complete information to look at the totality?
Yep. So I was just talking with Frank about that before the meeting, and just kind of going back and forth, but I do know that it is Fontaine's hope that the 3rd amendment, which would be the GMP, would be the final, so we could do a all-in comparative then. You know, at the end of a lot of CM projects, some money does get turned back, so it would really, the final would be at the end of construction, but a good bearing would be right when that Amendment 3 would be negotiated, so mid-December, late November, mid-December, I know that that's Fontaine's goal to get a GMP ready for execution. That'll include the filed sub-bids, and then as many trades as they can buy out in that time, and we were talking what could be straggling along, and there might be some scope holds in there, but that just means that we have a set amount of budget that's not to exceed. We still will go through and get 3 competitive prices, and prior to any authorization for that, PMA and LPA and Fontaine will review it.
Okay.
So Amendment
So we just
3.
went over our meeting schedule, so we have December 12th and then January 14th, it would be probably either one of those 2 meetings that we'd have the
That
kind
would
of
be my
complete picture.
best guess at this point in time, would be probably that December meeting, and at worst, that January meeting.
Okay.
And those are the numbers we'll ride through the project.
Yep, the GMP, that's the GMP that Fontaine's authorized to move forward with. We can't spend more money than that, and that's the full comparative at that point, where we, versus what was authorized at town meeting, the schematic design budget.
Now, relative to the winter and winter conditions, et cetera, do you have any, rabbits in your hat regarding if we get a horrible January, how you'll make that time up?
We never failed, we will keep going. We're planning on doing steel, and that's favorable. It's not favorable to do in the winter, but if you have to do something, that's the thing to do in the winter.
The goal is to have concrete
Yeah.
prior to the very cold.
Right.
And we do have some allocations for cold weather concrete. We didn't want to buy it out. We wanted to only expend that money if it was necessary, so it's kind of on a, I don't want to say a T&M basis, but it's on an authorization basis as necessary if we run into those conditions. But the goal is to have concrete.
We'll keep putting up steel all winter, right, and then go right into wrapping the building with metal studs and encasing, enclosing the building.
Great, okay. Just that this isn't a one little cute school in isolation. A lot of things will domino if we ever did lose a period of time.
Yep. And so, one thing to mention on project schedule is we do have a construction schedule that's been accepted by PMA and LPA. So we'll be moving forward with that at the end of October. We'll do an update based on actuals. Fontaine will do an update, PMA will review it, and we'll be able to give a better update on
Schedule.
on construction schedule and really talk to specifics, what you'll see upcoming for the next month and what you'll see, what should be completed.
So can we have that as the highlight for the November meeting?
Absolutely. It's a longer document, so maybe I'll snip like the next couple weeks out of it or the next month so we can go over it, unless you want to go over the whole thing. It doesn't.
No, I think you should task us, I'd love to get into the
Yeah.
weeds once in a while.
Absolutely.
So why don't we, for the November, get deep in the weeds, and that way, then you can just take the elements as we move forward, if you will,
Yeah.
the bigger milestones. But also, and then, so that'll be the highlight for the November meeting. And then in the December meeting, you think we'll have that comparative document that Patrick mentioned earlier? The budget?
Yeah, that would be the goal, to work from that November 4th bid date of the filed sub-bids to get the remainder of the GMP finalized with Fontaine.
All right, great. Any other questions, comments? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor shall signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. Thank you all very much.